As the J-League celebrates its 31st birthday today, it is a team playing in its top flight for the very first time this term who continue to script one of these stories of this season. Machida Zelvia are currently kept off top spot only by goal difference and have sat at the summit for much of the campaign after taking the step up seamlessly from J2 until 3 game weeks ago. Today's opponent, Cerezo Osaka, held the league leadership themselves, but a 5-game winless run has seen them slip all the way to 7th, 6 points off the pace set by their hosts. They've both been amongst the pace setters in this division for most of this season so far. Machida Zelvia have shown no sign yet of letting their unexpected challenge at the top slip away. Coming into this anniversary midweek round of J1 fixtures, they trail the champions Vissel Kobe on goal difference. Until just 3 games ago, it was Cerezo Osaka who sat proudly as the only team above them. The Sakura, by contrast, have hit a hurdle or two recently. No wins in 5, and back-to-back defeats for the first time this season coming here means Akio Kogiku's team are in real need of a response tonight. He was named the J1 League Manager of the Month for April yesterday, but a dreadful start to May has seen his team tumble down the table. Can they stop the slide on the western outskirts of Tokyo? What a ride it has been for these Machida Zelvia players so far. Hirakawa and Osi-hun, 2 of the standouts so far. The South Korean striker with 3 goals now in his last 5 games. Hirakawa was the player of the month in February and March at the start of the season, when they began so strongly in the top flight and have barely looked back since. And when there has been a setback, the reply has been so positive from those in blue, from his team, who've taken to life at this level brilliantly so far. Fancy their chances of continuing that coming into this, certainly as the form team of the two. Cerezo, who also began this campaign in such a rich vein of form, have slipped from those standards of late, taking just 2 points from the last 5 matches. Games really that they have, though, dominated for long spells. Coach Kogiku insisting that it shouldn't take too much to put right those wrongs. Let's take a check on the team news for you. Machida Zelvia make 3 changes from the goalless draw at Shonan Belmare on Saturday. Centre-back Ibrahim Dresovic misses his first game of the season, with Yang Min-ju absent for the last 5 matches coming in for the Kosovan. Kazuki Fujimoto is immediately recalled to the starting lineup. He was a half-time sub at the weekend, but is preferred tonight to Na Sang-ho, who drops to the bench, as does Shunta Araki up front, with Shota Fujio starting against his former club. He was on loan from Cerezo last season and made it permanent after promotion. It's his first start since winning the Asian Under-23 Cup with Japan at the start of the month. Yusuke Araki of Tokyo is tonight's referee, his 10th J1 League game of the season, which included the 3-all thriller between Kashima Antlers and Tokyo Verdy on Sunday. Leo Tanaka and his team provide the backup in the booth on VAR duty. There are 4 alterations to the Cerezo Osaka side, beaten 4-1 at home by champions Vissel Kobe 4 days ago. Ryuya Nishio comes in for Wolves loanee Justin Hubner at centre-back. The Indonesian international reverts to the bench, having made his first J1 start at the weekend. No Shinji Kagawa today. His minutes are being managed this season, so Mayashi Shibayama comes into midfield. And there are 2 more surprising changes maybe in the front 3, as Brazilians Lucas Fernandes and 10-goal top scorer Leo Ciara are both given breathers on the bench. In come the Belgium Jordi Crew and Hiroto Yamada, who starts a game in this division for the first time since September of 2022. Go Kuroda, 1 promotion with Machida Zelvia to the top flight in his first season in the job last year, and has them challenging for the title at the top end of the top tier this term. Akio Kogiku, the manager of the month for April, reflecting the strong start to the season that Cerezo Osaka made and maintained, but in May they have fallen short so far. sense this as a major opportunity against a direct rival. So here we go, our first ever top-flight meeting between these teams. Early leaders Cerezo Osaka now 6 points short of Machida Zelvia and the Summit. Both sides have so far sustained a superstar to their first season at this level, but it should be another tough test of their credentials tonight. Cerezo in their change kit in the white. Some early defensive work to do. Fusio, formerly of today's opponents, trying to force their way through. The early free kick is conceded. Started game in the J1 League. Fusio during his time with today's opponents. He's doing so for the 7th time this season for Machida Zelvia. First since returning from international duty in the Asian Under-23 Cup. Of that competition with Japan to qualify for the Olympic Games a little bit later in the year. There's Tanaka for Cerezo, back to Nishio, still to the starting lineup today, alongside Toriumi. Changes in total from that 4-1 defeat against Vissel Kobe. Suzuki under pressure with the clearance. A result that perhaps didn't reflect the performance put in by Cerezo at the weekend. They conceded goals when they were on top and couldn't take their chances. It certainly cost them against the champions, a result that took Vissel Kobe back to the Summit ahead of Machida Zelvia. The holder struggling Shonan Belmare in that goalless draw. Did everything but score really in that game. Kuroda's team disallowed by VAR. Crossbar with a header as well, and counted themselves unfortunate to have to settle for a share of the spoils. In each of the previous two, they haven't conceded a goal in any of their last 3 matches. Jordi Cruz did it cleanly, couldn't quite pick the pass. The Belgian on his return to the starting lineup. 2 eyebrows raised with the Brazilians beginning on the bench. Fernandez and Leo Ciara, particularly the latter. He scored 8 goals in his last 8 games. I'm sure we'll see him at some stage today. Been suffering with injuries to key players of late, Cerezo. It's been one of the reasons for the dip in results. Both of their first choice fullbacks, Napolizato and Maikuma. Sharp is sidelined as well. He's set out the last 4 games now through injury as the Brazilian. Kiku made the point that 1 or 2 others have been suffering from having to play so many matches. I suspect Ciara was one of those that he was talking about. So important to the season that they've had so far. Rio Shemaine, if Jibelo Awata with more goals than Leo Ciara in the top flight this term. Shoji, the vastly experienced captain. His first season with Machida Zelvia, but plenty of experience at this level, unlike many of his teammates who made the step up from the J2 League. 6th straight start for Shoji, since he made the switch from Kashima Antlers, the team directly below them in the current standings. Everybody in action today. 15th of May, always a special day in the J-League calendar. 1993 on this day that the very first fixture in this division was played. Obviously, Hum's had a good season so far, particularly more latterly for Machida Zelvia. 3 goals in his last 5 games, 5 in total, having started every league game so far this season, the South Korean. Hirakawa, and when they come forward they like to do so quickly. Osi Hum, and still, and support is now arriving. Oh, he didn't quite collect that cleanly, Fujimoto. It was there to be struck. It sat up invitingly for him. And a missed kick really from Kazuki Fujimoto in front of goal. Yamada at the other end, trying to turn defence into attack for the Sakura. Lively first 5 minutes of the game. Tamada has overhit that one. Potential openings at either end that they weren't quite able to make the most of. Fujimoto straight back in the starting lineup today, having been brought on at the break at the weekend. He'd started the previous 9 matches. Right on halfway when that came his way. O.C. Hun in the build-up did really well. He was able to pick the pass round about the penalty spot for Fujimoto. Just scuffed it. Toriumi was able to make the block, but probably shouldn't have been afforded the chance to do so. Hayashi with the throw. Fujimoto, he's done really well this time. And still, Jordi Crew just got in front of him. As it turned out, in the interpretation of the referee, just did enough. Doing his defensive duties. Taking a tumble in the process. This is what drew the referee's attention, maybe. Fujimoto heavily involved early on. It's a Trinita player. It's a new signing for this season after Machida Zelvia's promotion to J1 for the first time in their history. Only founded in 1989 in the Tokyo Prefectural League. J3 original in 2015. Spent 8 straight years in the second tier until winning the title last season. Sigh of relief there, with the way that the ball bounced. Kosei Tani in goal has it. He's on loan from Cerezo's neighbours and rivals Gamba Osaka for the season. He's kept together the majority of the squad that were promoted. Has added to it astutely to provide a bit of experience in this league. Their opportunity. Will want it back here from Shibayama. Just with Okuda. Tanaka. Himself crowded out of it a little bit. Some space for the counter-attack. This is where Machida Zelvia can be so effective. Shota Fujio. Still, Cerezo know all about his threat. Season on loan with Machida from today's opponents. It was made permanent after promotion. He scored 3 goals in the top flight this term already. It's just the one for Cerezo in 5 substitute appearances over 2 seasons in this league in 2020 and 2021. He'd been loaned out since then before being allowed to leave. To show them what they're missing today. He is again heavily involved early on. Shio dealt with by Toriumi. Got the block in. He's played every minute of the previous 7 games. Changing defence around him. He's been the constant recently. Koji Toriumi not enough there. It's Fujio. He's proving a handful early on. Prospect, as he proved with the role that he played, winning that Asian Under-23 Cup start of this month. Down the 1-0 victory against Uzbekistan in the final. Forced this corner kick, which is taken short. Suzuki, a little too deep, just over the head of Yang Min-shu. Ventured up from centre-back, couldn't quite reach it on his return to the team. Suzuki attempting to provide the service. Scored their first ever goal in this division against Gamba Osaka on opening weekend. penalty spot in a 1-all draw. They proceeded to win the next 4 games in succession to take their place amongst the pace setters, where they have remained. Best defensive record in the division so far through the first 13 games for Machida Zelvia. He has let in less than the 10 goals that they've conceded so far. Clean sheets, as I mentioned, in the last 3 of them coming into this. Trying to keep the pressure high here. Taking over for Cerezo. Funaki. He started every game, but the majority of those, until last week anyway, had been in the centre of the defence. Funaki in at left back for the 2nd straight game in the injury absence of the Borazzato. So the hamstring problem in the derby defeat against Cerezo Osaka a couple of games ago. He'd been ever present since signing from Kawasaki from Thailand. Prior to that, he's in reserve for later. Eric's on the comeback trail. He was the top scorer in winning promotion last year, got 18 goals. Mitchell Duke is a current Australian international. He's also amongst those held in reserve. Orthodox from the throw. Still gets a chance to swing it in. Have to be dealt with. There's Hayashi. Miss a minute of their season so far. He played in this league last year and suffered relegation with Yokohama. But he found himself back in the top flight. Sento. Interesting contrast of styles today, which is often the case where Machida Zelvia are involved because of preference for playing it long and direct. Average less possession than any other team in the J1 League this year. Hugely effective. Shibayama for Cerezo to Okuda. His performance, one of the big positives from that defeat against Vissel Kobe at the weekend. It was his first start in this league. Certainly did not look out of place from University for this season. By Chang Min-ju. Unlikely to miss Drezovic. He's been a key part of that impressive defensive record that I was talking about, the Kosovan missing his first game of the season. A new signing from Turkish football for this year. He's voted the club's player of the month in April. This is Hirakawa. He's the J1 player of the month in the opening month of the season. Towards his impact in this Machida side, with whom he won promotion last year. It's his 3rd season in senior football. Also taking the university route to the pro game. Suzuki able to swing in the cross, and the header guided wide by Fujio. Well positioned. Suzuki again is the one providing the service. Have the space to do so here. Fujio had made the run and come to it in front of Nishio. Presence of the centre-back was still potentially important there, but Fujio, having put himself in that spot, would have backed himself maybe to do a little bit better with the header. There's Jordi Crew, no free kick forthcoming for the Belgian. Zhang. There's that longer ball again. Immediately getting his side facing forward on the front foot. How they deal with the long ball, says Akio Kogiku, could be key to the contest tonight. Knows that they're coming. Stopping them can be a different matter. That's the challenge that he and his team are faced with. 4th season in the job for Kogiku. Had 3 separate spells on the coaching staff and as an assistant with the Sakura before getting the top job. Hirakawa did really well to squeeze the cross in from there. He's afforded very little time and space to do so. And he reaped some reward from it. They were certainly susceptible, Cerezo, from set pieces on Saturday. Notably the 3rd goal in the 4-1 defeat against Vissel Kobe came from a corner that they reflected on with frustration afterwards, felt they could have defended it better. Lessons being learned here 4 days on. Shortage of targets, and they're the majority of them waiting to make their move on the edge of the penalty area, and it goes awkwardly. That really could have gone anywhere. Just clearing the crossbar. And another one here. Machida Zelvia. Decent delivery towards Fujio. Well, another day that might just have dropped underneath the bar instead of over it. Just to keep the pressure on from the other side this time. They will attempt something similar. No, mixing it up this time, leaving it for Suzuki. It wasn't as threatening as it turned out. He's in blue and black. And really in the box seat just at the moment in the game. Conditions could become a factor tonight. Under the lights. Machida GION Stadium in Yasuda Park. Just a few years ago was elevated to such an extent that capacity was more than doubled. Bringing up to line with J1 standards. Promotion. This was their aim, which was achieved last year. Here comes the throw towards OC Hun. It's cleared away by Crew, but more height than there was distance on that. Belgium still battling with a loose ball. Able to influence the game how he would have liked as yet. It's looked a particularly painful one for him, judging by his reaction. Yeah. By the knee of Hayashi. Particularly painful part of the anatomy. Desperate to see a response from his side. Kogiku today actually started very strongly against Vissel Kobe at the weekend, had the better chances until they fell behind late in the first half. Conceded another before the break. 2 in the space of 6 minutes, heading for the interval. Another just 4 minutes into the second half. The game got away from them. To have plenty of options in reserve today. So this is the rotation made by Kogiku. Cerezo have a corner of their own here. Jordi Crew to take it. The captain is one of those up from the back. Movement going on in the middle, waiting Crew's corner. By OC Hun, defending his own box effectively. And will return it. Quite make that stick. First start of the season in the league for Hiroto Yamada today. He's come on as a substitute in 7 of the previous 8 games. And that one will sail straight out of play from Shoji. Inadvertently. Little lapse of communication and concentration, potentially, suiting the throw. It's the first J1 start for Tamada since September of 2022. For Yamada, I should say, spent last season out on loan at Kageyama Sendai in the 2nd tier. Okuda. Pass for Yamada. Importantly, it might open up here for those in white. Twisting and turning was Yamada. Just wasn't really able to engineer a side of goal for himself to get the shot away. Still looking for his first goal since returning from that year out on loan. Tamada hoisted high. Jordan Crew was underneath it, got something on it. Not quite enough as it turned out. It's a better little spell this from the Sakura. Had to soak up a bit of pressure themselves. Maintaining possession here, they've got all the way back to Kim Jin-hyun in goal. Absolutely nothing at the end of that for them. It's back-to-back games coming into this for the first time this season. Well, that's lost 3 in a row in the final 3 games of last season. They had a really disappointing end to 2023. Finished it in mid-table, 9th of 18. Last 8 league games. Only scored 1 goal across those matches, losing 6 of them. But only 5 clubs scored fewer in J1 last season, only 3 clubs conceded fewer. Cerezo Osaka. Such a positive start to the current campaign that they made, which in recent weeks hasn't been sustained. It increases the onus on them today, increases the importance of this particular fixture, really. So we reach the midway point of the first half, there's nothing between them. There's Kim, gave himself a little bit of work to do before completing the clearance. Crew under pressure from Hayashi, wins the free kick. Quickly. Tanaka. See that inverted fullback role that he is playing, stepping into midfield fairly frequently. So Okuda singled out for praise really by Kogiku after his first start at the weekend. Kuroda being given plenty to think about just at the moment as well. Incredible story really. In charge of Machida Zelvia in the top flight. Having led them to promotion, as I mentioned, in his first season in the job last year. It came after 28 years as coach of the Amori Yamada High School team, based in the snowy north of the country. Some poor training facilities. When he took charge, he turned their fortunes around, turned them into one of the best high school teams in the country. Now getting his chance in the J-League. It's a good number, actually, of the players in this Machida Zelvia squad who did once work with him at high school level. There's O.C. Hunt. Spotted the space for Fujimoto, able to slip it through to him. This is Fujio, and still had other options there as well. He was likely to take it on, and the deflection took the sting out of it. Crew down the line for Okuda. Looked them more likely, haven't they, Machida so far, to create something in front of goal. combining patiently with Okuda. Tanaka, another ever present in this side this season. Signing from Consadole, it's then slipped too far forward in front of Yamada. Comfortably gathered up by Kosei Tani. Shihan rising well to win it. Injured red by Okuda. Was covering to cut it out. Forward by Tanaka. He had with Consadole Sapporo before making the move for this year. Shunta Tanaka. Crew to combine with Shibayama. There's a yellow card out. I believe is the first caution of the contest. His arm came across and caught him. In that yellow card. Back the first into the book. Third yellow of his season, just one away now from a suspension. More immediately, it has left them with a potential problem from the free kick. Jordi Crew, former Visma Fukuoka player, former Belgian youth international, is standing over. Starts to come down a little bit heavier. It can be difficult situations for teams defending set pieces, certainly in this part of the pitch. By Jordi Crew awkwardly, the goalkeeper opting to punch it clear, which was understandable really in the circumstances. Back in it came, albeit briefly, from Okuno, and now maybe the counter, because Hirakawa's done really well. And Okuda is isolated. Hirakawa, and the goalkeeper gets just enough on it to be able to scramble back and make the save, and Kim keeps it out just. And denies you Hirakawa near length of the field counter-attacking goal. Which came with his team under pressure at the other end when defending the set piece initially. Further highlights how Machida Zelvia can be so dangerous without too much of the ball. The story of their season so far as Sento sends that high. Hyun grateful to be able to make that save in the end. Gather the loose ball up on his line. The vastly experienced 36-year-old South Korean international goalkeeper. Now his 16th season with the senior side. He joined straight out of university back in 2009. Plays this one away. He gets very decent distance on it. Shibayama assessing his options. Crew takes over. Comes back to the captain Nishio. Those that's risen through the youth ranks at the club. He's also on duty with Japan at the Under-23 Asian Cup. Most of that competition through suspension actually after being sent off in their opening game against China. Still haven't convincingly got this clear, Zelvia. Jordi Crew. Shibayama. Towards the starting lineup today. Come on as a substitute in each of the two previous matches. Signed halfway through last season. His part in helping them over the line to promotion. Now Jordi Crew. Looking to link with Okuda. He'll stand up the cross. Nobody in white to attack it though. Safety first from Suzuki in conceding the corner. build-up. By his own admission, despite that impressive first start at the weekend, he said that he feels he needs to work on his end product, his crossing, and his final ball. Plenty of potential to develop, certainly, for the right back. His chance because of the injury to Saya Maikuma a couple of games ago, the 8 times capped Japanese international. Geordie Crew waiting to take the corner, half an hour in. Wasn't really dealt with. Tanaka took a bit of a swing at it, so too did Okano, and this time thumped in from Yamada, but from an offside position. Was it or not? It looked close. The flag has stayed down, they'll take a check. Hiroto Yamada in a perfect position to finish it off after Tamada had provided a tantalising ball across goal. Let's have another look. Push out quickly enough. The home side here. Oh, I think he's on. Yeah, that's going to count. Go to Tamada, and all alone in front of goal, Hiroto Yamada on his first start in this league since September of 2022. In which they've been second best for lengthy spells, maybe, in which most of the more menacing moments had come at the other end. It is Cerezo Osaka that have got themselves in front. He scores for the club for the first time since a goal in the League Cup in August of 2022. It's coming up to 2 years since he last scored in this division for them, which came in victory in the derby at Gamba Osaka. Tanaka, the video assistant referee, has just been having a look at the footage. Still we await official confirmation of the goal. Certainly from those replays, as if they were just onside. To the naked eye at the time, it looked a little bit more doubtful. Check is ongoing, and Yuzuki Araki awaits final confirmation. Have another look at it. From that angle, it looks more debatable, doesn't it? But I think that might be a little deceptive. We shall see. He scored a couple of goals in J2 League, did Yamada, during last year's loan with Sendai. At Cerezo since 2015. It's the 6th year with the first team squad, the former Japanese youth international. He's had to wait patiently for his start this season. Certainly thought he got his goal. But the flag stayed down at the time. It was given as a goal. This check is proving a very lengthy one. I've seen a couple of different angles of it. Decision overturned. After that lengthy check, is not going to count after all. That, I think, is the definitive angle, isn't it? There's confirmation that Yamada, as I thought initially at the time, was offside. Different angle suggested otherwise, but that's what they have the technology for, to make sure that they come to the correct conclusion. It took a little while to get there. Disappointment for Sakura. Have to deal with that pretty quickly. And take the positives from it, the creation of the opportunity. Use it as a template, because really it was the nearest of margins that we're talking about again. Right in front of the referee, it's a paper one for both. Shibato was the Machida player involved. He who clearly made the contact with Okuno before then going down himself. Shibato, who is on loan from Urawa Reds, has played over 100 games for them. Already served a yellow card accumulation suspension this season. In fact, he's been booked 6 times already this season through his first 11 appearances for the club. Collision not without some personal cost to Shibato either. He will have been the one to commit the initial foul, but seems to have suffered more significantly than Okuno. It is notable, really, given the number of new players brought in. Although the nucleus of last season's promotion-winning squad is still at the club, very few of them are first choices at the moment in J1. Only four, I should say, of this starting 11 played for them last year. Checks go on for Shibato. See if he's going to be able to continue or not. He's had a very regular role for them recently. His 4th straight start since he served that suspension that I mentioned, which came in their victory at FC Tokyo. 2-time Empress Cup winner with Urawa Reds. He won the Champions League last year as well as part of that squad. He started the once for the Reds in J1 last season, and at the end of it. So he made the loan move in search of more regular game time, which has been forthcoming. I think the signs are a little more promising now that he's going to be able to continue. Coach Kuroda just waiting for word on that as well. Clarification on the situation from the medical staff. To add on at the end of this first half as a result of the last couple of stoppages that we've seen for the VAR check and then the injury to Shibato, who is ready to return. Just about patched up. Back in the thick of things here as the free kick goes the way of the home side. He certainly had a scare with that offside goal. On the wrong end of such a decision at the weekend against Shonan Belmare. Come with Fujimoto. Look at that, 7 shots, just 36% of the possession, but that is not a surprising statistic really in the context of their campaign. That is what they do. Actually waiting to take the throw. They've come prepared for the conditions, certainly. It's a familiar sight at this time of year. Decent distance on the throw, just skipped off the head of Oshihan. Suzuki's going to cut this one out, and then attempts to dink it back in, a little too close to the keeper maybe, but getting put under pressure by Oshihan. Goes well to make it more difficult for his compatriot as the South Koreans collided. Zelvia. We'll see what Suzuki can provide already in this sort of position. Deeper delivery this time, it's certainly there to be attacked. Shoji up from the back, trying to do so. Still looking for his first goal for the club. Putting himself in those sort of positions, you suspect it won't be too long, albeit having said that, he hasn't scored in this league since November of 2018 for Kashima Antlers. returned for last season, back at the club where he started his career. He wasn't able to get his goal. Fugio down very quickly. Final 5 of the first 45, although as I mentioned there'll be a fair bit you suspect to add on after that. There is Hayashi. Comfortably gathered up by Kim. Goals from fullback for that Yokohama side that was relegated last season for Kotaro Hayashi. Only he and O.C. Hunt have started every game for Machida Zelvia in the top flight this term. Here's Hirakawa. There's a few issues for Funaki at the moment. Running at him, Hirakawa did well. This really did Okudo to guide that away from immediate danger under some pressure. She dispossessed. Almost came to Sento. More involved forward from fullback Hayashi in the last few minutes. Just a minute of their season so far. And certainly not relenting. It's Machida evening, the western outskirts of the capital city of Tokyo. Derby game to come here on Sunday against Tokyo Verdy. Machida beaten FC Tokyo a few games ago. Two more established rivals, really. Machida Zelvia, both of them currently in the table. Through in field. Shibayama to Okuda. Funaki working it wider. There's Nishio. It's far from convincing Okuda. Favourably at his feet. Side getting back into their defensive structure though behind the ball. So they may well need to be here. Okuno. Shibato did well up against him. Make it more difficult than it might have been. Four wins in their last 6 in all competitions for Machida Zelvia coming into this. Spell came at Jubilo Owata at the end of last month by 2-0. They've responded really well to that. Potentially to go back to the top of the table tonight. Cerezo with options in attack. Worked it cleverly. He came from Okuno as just clearing the crossbar though. Position that he found himself in here. Had to take it first time really before Fujimoto could get her foot in. Just struck across it. Plenty of spin on it. Always clearing the bar in the end from Okuno. Did score 3 times last season. He's yet to open his account in the current campaign. Were a double at FC Tokyo a year ago. There's Fugio at the other end. So the flag on the far side has gone up. So his frustration. Find out any moment now how much longer this first half will be extended by. It's just offside there against Shota Fugio. It's a good call. Additional minutes from here, really because of the VAR check on the goal that wasn't, as it turned out, and the injury injury to Shibata that swiftly followed it. First half story not quite told yet. One was by Yamada. The goal goes on. See who had the ball in the net. Nishio looking at the pieces at the other end. Home side would have thought it harsh if they had been trailing at this juncture, as for a little while it looked like they might be. The goal from Yamada was initially given before being overruled on review. Shibayama for Jordy Crew. Since that moment there's been very little really between them. Shibayama again. Shunta Tanaka. Okuda. Yamada almost made something of it as he flung out a foot. It was travelling well wide and it left the boot of Hayato Okuda, showing his intent though to drive in and then drive it goalwards. Too much really that Yamada could do with it given the pace at which it was travelling. Seem to have embraced his opportunity in the team. Your friends and family, he said, at the game at the weekend. Despite the defeat and the significant nature of it in the end, the 4-1 loss against Vissel Kobe, an occasion that Okuda will still always remember and look back on fondly. Was marred really only by his part in the concession of the third goal. It was he who lost Yuya Osano from the corner. Well, really that effectively put it beyond his team. Now this is Fujio, he's going to reach it in space for Machida Zelvia. Cross came Nishio, down goes Fujio, a little glance in the referee's direction. No more than that really. To commit to the challenge, and perhaps got a little bit fortunate here, Nishio. Got the ball there. Shota Fujio in full flight. Tuck the tumble. The referee was well positioned. Nishio did just nick it away. Could easily have had a different outcome. The corner again, it's deep deliveries, the majority of them have been, and before Jordy Crew could clear it away, the referee's whistle has gone for the free kick anyway, with Toriumi down. The one that dealt with it initially. Off his head first before the awkward landing under pressure. Spot that Nishio found himself in though against Shota Fujio, who is certainly causing his former club some issues in this first half. Yet been able to profit from that. Jordy Crew with a chase on. He's going to reach it. Will require a little bit of support here. The offside flag's gone up actually against him. He will have been their last attack of this first half. Plenty for both teams to look back on as the half-time whistle goes with nothing to separate them. Cerezo did think they got themselves in front. Yamada's goal was disallowed though on review for offside. Machida with that penalty shout at the end of the half had created the better chances really earlier in the piece, but couldn't find the finish, couldn't find a way beyond Kim Jin-hyun in goal. They have been creating the major moments of Machida, despite Cerezo having more with the ball. But it remains in the balance at the break. Half-time, Machida Zelvia 0, Cerezo Osaka 0. So welcome back. We are almost set for the start of the second half. No goals yet between Machida Zelvia and Cerezo Osaka, but a half-time change from the visitors. Leo Ciara is on, the top scorer, in place of Tamada. Ciara, who scored 8 goals in his last 8 games in this division, who has 10 for the campaign in total. Just one short of Rio Shimane coming into tonight in the race for the Golden Boot. And perhaps it was always a part of the plan to call for him at this stage. Akio Kogiku talked before the game about how some players were suffering a little bit from accumulation of minutes. Ciara has been the key player in Cerezo's season so far. It's been managed a little bit, maybe. For the entirety of the second half. Shota Fujio there has been one of the standouts for Machida Zelvia. Did create the majority of the openings in that first period without being able to engineer a breakthrough. Cerezo Osaka get the second half started. Didn't have that goal disallowed for offside in the first period. They had the ball in the net, given at the time, overruled on review. Saw a penalty shout when Fujio went down as well late in the half. Talking points certainly, but no breakthrough yet. Side separated by 6 points, 5 places in the standings coming into tonight. There's Funaki for Cerezo, forward from fullback to provide the cross. Cut out but not convincingly cleared. Tanaka's effort always just off target though. Position from which to strike it. Scored just his second goal of his first season at the club. First came on his debut. The 2-2 draw against another Tokyo team, the very first match week of the season back in February. A bit of space here for Hirakawa. Does have support. Hirakawa still going. Took a one too many maybe before then taking the tumble. He stayed down at the end of it. Suggestion really of a foul challenge. Shibayama comes clear. Now is he back on his feet? Yu Hirakawa. He's looking in the mood to make something happen though for his side. Lovely control initially. Okuno, who just stepped in to take this away from him here. Didn't get the ball though, did he? Looking at that, there might have been a bit more in it than initially appeared to be the case. Enough in it for Toneyar to intervene. By Funaki. The lineups. Screen no changes at half-time by the home side. Have the free kick here. There's never a top-flight meeting between these teams. Their only 2 previous meetings came in J2 back in 2016. Both actually ended in victories for the away side. It's the first July of 2016. Machida to Osaka, by 3-1. His only previous visit here was a 1-0 win in February of that year. They ended up 4th and with promotion through the playoffs. Looking for options from the throw. Hooked on by Leo Ciara towards Yamada. Hurt himself in the process of challenging for that against Toriyumi. crumpled a little bit on landing there, Shota Fujio. Goals he scored in J2 in winning promotion when on loan from Cerezo. Before heading to the Asian Under-23 Cup as well. Hadn't, until tonight, been able to get his starting spot back, coming off the bench in the last couple of games. Previously had been a regular in the early weeks of the season. And from what we've seen so far tonight, you can understand why. Nishio. Come back at him here. Here with options. Suzuki. Urakawa. So awkwardly there, where it was met by Nishio at some cost. I'm sure that he got his head on that first. Swung it in that direction. And he just reached it ahead of Fujio with the captain. Fairly frantic first 5 minutes of this second half. By Jang Min-ju. South Korean contingent. O.C. Hun was on the end of it, couldn't keep hold of it. Fine margins at the moment. Osiara will try and put the pressure on. Clearance by Tani. The opportunity for the counter-attack. Fushimoto almost in. Horiyumi just stood enough in front of it. Makes the decision on the edge of the penalty area. Very early in the game, wasn't able to trouble the target. Was almost played in again by Fujio. Continues to look a real threat. Jang Min-ju's header, back by Okuno. The crew skipped into a little bit of space here. It's an important block. Maybe the threat, and then Tanaka takes a tumble. It's the free kick that he was hoping for. Sorting out to do. Yeah, there was just enough of a nudge, wasn't there, from behind by O.C. Hun. Into the back. Shunta Tanaka. And this will be a very presentable position from which to size up the free kick. So looking to get their campaign back on course. Gone unbeaten through the first 8 matches of this J1 League season, winning 5 of them. Only 2 points have followed from the 5 games since that run has ended. 2-1 defeat at Nagoya Grampus, their first defeat. But options for them here, certainly, to try and reward those travelling fans that have made the trip. These from Osaka. Free kick struck with venom, but straight at the wall. Tanaka. An opportunity to make something of it, maybe. Nishio. Akura. Into the gloves by the goalkeeper. And Tani releases it pretty quickly. And gets Machida Zelvia on the front foot here. We've got 3 in the penalty area. If Hirakawa can provide the service, not quite as it turned out. He got to him quickly and stuck with him. His opportunity to make rather more of what had looked fleetingly a very promising position. Leo Ciara at the other end was in full flight, making his presence felt. Title winner with Yokohama Ref Marinos. Cerezo Osaka have got the ball back here with Shibayama. Through in the direction of Leo Ciara without quite being able to reach him. So Finally balanced, isn't it? Here's Fujio at the other end all of a sudden. This is what Machida Zelvia do so well. Taking advantage of the transitions. Hirakawa able to pick the pass for Sento to strike it. Well, there's plenty of power behind that. Nishio was also behind it. He's feeling the effects of it. The referees had to step in just to check that he's okay. Yuya Nishio had to ensure that he got himself in the way here. He will be winded after that. Invitingly for Sento. Struck it sweetly enough. Trying to find a home, Kaya Sento, playing for a 6th different club in the last 5 years. He sent off on his debut against Cerezo Osaka. And having served that one-match suspension, he's begun every other game since he joined from Kashiwa Reysol, where he spent last season. Cerezo fans wait for word of their captain here, with Nishio still down, as does the coach. Missed 6 games whilst he was away on international duty with the Japanese under-23 side at the Asian Cup. He's back on the bench at the weekend, back in the team today. In place of Justin Hubner, he's on loan from Wolves. He's amongst the substitutes. The obvious replacement if required, but I think this year's going to be okay to continue for Kokiku. We're going to see a change though from the home side at this juncture in the introduction of Na Sang-ho in place of Fujimoto. He had started the previous 6 games at Na. So that's a reversal of one of the 3 changes that was made to the starting lineup by Kuroda from the weekend. The FC Seoul player, another of the South Korean internationals, comes into the action. Sento here able to pick up the pieces. Suzuki works it well into the run of Na Sang-ho, getting him involved in the game straight away. Let's see what they were trying. His experience of playing in the capital with FC Tokyo before he returned home to FC Seoul. Machida on a 3-year contract at the turn of the year. That's the corner kick here. Suzuki waiting to take it. First player on the near post that time. 1 3 the last 5 here at home. Machida Zelvia. They've scored in every home game this season, with 6 of them so far. Trying to extend that sequence. Wanted to aim at in the middle, and it went towards O.C. Hun. Quite full for Fujio. Turned menacingly once more. Hirakawa. Might get another go yet. He's done really well. Does deliver, and then O.C. Hun challenging for it, couldn't quite reach it. He felt that he was held back as the goalkeeper gathered it instead at his feet. Owed much here to Hirakawa. From Okano. Fujio attempting to help it on. O.C. Hun, I think, was just off balance, really, trying to readjust and reach it. Hirakawa's the one looking most likely to make something happen for Machida. A real talent. He has really stepped up so well to this sort of stage this season. Cerezo look to respond. Zelvia, of course, do have this reputation for developing young players, helping them on their way into the professional game. Now, of course, they have top-flight football to offer them. necessarily need to move them on as quickly as perhaps was once the case. Brazil of Tokyo were known because of the popularity of the sport in the city of Machida. It is part of Tokyo. It's very closely linked with Kanagawa as well. A little bit of space here. Na Sang-ho. Still going to have to take it on himself. It wasn't far away, but he would have known, I think, from the moment it left his boot that it wasn't quite going to trouble the target. Far top corner. They've not been slow to look for the South Korean since he was summoned as a sub just a few minutes ago. Immediately become a big part of the game plan. In. Still too close to call, really. Just against letting that go. Once Funaki. Those that's risen through the ranks with Cerezo to become a regular. It's back in 2019 that he made his debut. 22 international with Japan. Is one of those yet to miss a minute in this division this season for the Cherry Blossoms. Trying to work an opening here, space to advance. Here's Ciara. Fly. Rather ambitiously as it turned out. This fellow Brazilian, who's also been a regular starter, is going to come on shortly by the looks of things. Fernandez getting his instructions. Ciara, Shibayama from Okudo. Both teams just taking little turns in the ascendancy in the game. All this possession for Cerezo. It's in a part of the pitch which will not unduly concern the home side. This is what they like to do. There's a little bit of space for them to do it. Fujio on the end of that, reaching it just ahead of Nishio, who cuts out the initial cross. Fujio may yet get another go. And to locate a little bit of support, which is provided by Shibato. Sento, the target, was offside. Change in the introduction of Lucas Fernandez for what will be his 150th appearance in J1. 5 years with Consadole Sapporo before making the move for this season. He's into the action in place of Yamada. His first league start of the campaign comes to a slightly early conclusion. Denied that goal by the offside on review in the first half. Now vacates the stage. Lucas Fernandez, who started the previous 7 games, is into the action. Plenty of time to have his say. More of a provider than he has a goal scorer. He's still yet to open his account actually in front of goal this season. And he failed to score for Consa in J1 last year. Now Cerezo have won this well high up the pitch. Leo Ciara taking over and squaring it. And Tanaka just couldn't sort his feet out. Went perfectly positioned. Beats the floor in frustration because this was a big chance. Shibato caught in possession. Cerezo had worked it well. Leo Ciara into the feet of Tanaka. It was maybe just a fraction behind where he wanted it, and he couldn't quite readjust. And wide it goes. Still, he hasn't scored since his debut. Get many better openings than that, you suspect. Ho. Machida with a let-off at one end to try and take advantage at the other here. This is Gar once more. It's awkward, that was there to be hit. Hayashi got power behind it. Kim makes the save. Did well, the goalkeeper. I saw this, I think, all the way. Oh, maybe not. Makes it an even better save as it just brushed past Fujio, who was in the goalkeeper's line of vision. It was close enough to him for him to be able to turn it away from trouble. Actually having generated real power with the effort. Last goal in August of last year for Yokohama in the derby with F. Marinos. The two that he scored. Relegation campaign. It's his first since leaving university. Something a little bit different here from the corner. Zelvia. He's still packing the penalty area in towards OC Hun. Be clutched by the keeper. And cleared by Kim. Decent distance on that as well. Because Fernandez was trying to glance it on. Room to do so effectively, really. Chang Min-ju. Jordy Crew. Towards the closing quarter of the game, it really does need somebody to try and grab hold of it, somebody to make the difference. The contest is closely contested as this one has been thus far. You can certainly still feel that it is there for the winning. That might make. It's still relatively early stage of the season. The spot has been changing hands pretty regularly recently. So led the lot themselves just 3 games ago. Picked up today down in 7th place in the table, 6 points short of the summit. They can turn their fortunes around here. Every chance that they can still mount the challenge that most fans were hoping to see. Successive season in the top tier after that 2016 promotion. Played in the Champions League 4 times. They've won the J.LEAGUE Cup. They've won 4 Emperor's Cups. The 8 original founding clubs. The old Japan Soccer League. Interesting history certainly between these clubs, but on the field right now, absolutely nothing to split them. Sento is hoping to come away with it, denied the chance to do so by the referee's whistle. So Okano just caught. Challenge from behind by Kei Shibata. He's always running the risk of conceding a free kick from there. There's a real feel-good factor around the Machida GION Stadium right now. They taken to life at this level. The ownership have big ambitions for this football club. That included actually changing the name to include Tokyo. Fans railed against that. That's on hold for the time being. Focus here on the free kick. Which again does not trouble the goalkeeper. Tani able to come and collect it and release it quickly. Fans felt they hadn't been consulted by the owners over the prospective name change a few years back. They made their feelings clear. Zelvia, it remains. Fernandez here almost came back his way. Now Sangho. This is Fujio. Sangho again, wonderfully weighted, and he is able to pick out Osaka to find the finish. The breakthrough goal. And one of these stories of the season shows no signs of slowing. Machida Zelvia loving life in the top flight. With their sights set on top spot tonight, maybe. It's a sixth goal of the season for Osaka, who found himself perfectly positioned in front of goal. The South Koreans combine. Na Sang-ho to Osaka. And that is the outcome. Relief etched on the face, as much as anything. And for a side who haven't conceded in their previous 3 matches, the opening goal always likely to be so important tonight. They've had to wait for it. They've had to work for it. But with 20 minutes to go comes their reward. It's the 6th straight game that Cerezo have conceded first. They've made a change. Vita Bueno replacing Shibayama, Brazilian attacker, into the fray. So they have to chase the game now. Four goals in his last 6 matches for the South Korean. He's on loan from Shimazu Espulse, making a big difference to his side season. Making a big difference to proceedings tonight, maybe, with that contribution. And there's 5 previous matches where Cerezo have gone behind. They have conceded the game's first goal. They haven't won any of them. They've salvaged just the 2 points in that sequence so far of the Sakura. To dig deep again here, have to find a little bit more. Still, Zelvia have scored in every home game this season. Ciara falls favourably at his feet. He tried to charge all the way through. If anyone's capable of getting them back in the game, it is he. His goal against Vissel Kobe at the weekend came when they were 3-0 down. Taking up a promising position again here. Lucas Fernandez taking over by Jordi Crew. Did come from behind to earn a point against Concert. 3 games ago. That's the result that cost them top spot at the time. Twice came from behind in a 2-2 with Yokohama F. Marinos in the previous match as well. And having got his goal, Osaka is coming off here. A change up top made by Go Kuroda. And the Australian international Mitchell Duke is going to come on for the 12th time. 14 games this season. Osaka having made the difference. The easiest of finishes, where it fell. He made the most of it. Makes way with his part played. Mitchell yet to start a game this season. Has been a regular at this sort of stage of matches coming off the bench. He did get 10 goals in the promotion-winning team last season, when he was a regular starter in J2. Went to the Asian Cup with Australia earlier in the year. Featured full times for them in Qatar. He has 39 caps for his country now, so he's on for the conclusion. It is Cerezo on the attack. Jordi Crew cutting in field and going for glory. I don't think that was too far away. And for his first goal of the season. It's close. Quite close enough though for the Sakura. Certainly caught hold of it. Further changes on the way from Akio Kogiku. Up his side for the closing quarter of an hour or so in pursuit of parity. Zhang Minju here. Will float it forward. It's going to break favourably for Na! And that was the chance to wrap up the win for Na Sang-ho. And he can't quite do so. Well, both he and Mitchell Duke were bearing down on goal. Cerezo opened up all too easily, really, by this long ball out from the back, from just in front of their own penalty area when it was played. Sang-ho was in. Couldn't pick out the corner as intended. Really could have put the issue beyond doubt at this stage, you suspect. Vita Bueno. For those in white, that they still harbour a genuine hope of reaping something from the game, some reward. Here's Fernandez. Funaki setting himself for the cross. Not too much on it, as it turned out. Well, they're committing plenty forward. They are leaving themselves open against a side who play those long balls. So a second goal in the game is eminently possible at this stage. Predicting at which end a little more difficult, maybe. Coming together between the two number 10s, Tanaka and Na Sang-ho. Here come those Cerezo changes. Kiyotake and Weijo both being summoned as subs. Jordi Crew and Hiroaki Okuno will make way. Kiyotake on for the third game in succession after a lengthy spell out through injury. He is actually the club captain, 34 years of age. The rest of his 43 caps for Japan came nearly 7 years ago now. Jordi Crew's part is played as well. Has come off the bench in 9 of the last 11 matches now, his third season at the club. Full change in the front three. Sakura starting to run out of time to rescue it. Played of nearly 500 kilometres on the outskirts of Tokyo. Na Sang-ho. Suzuki's cross. Comfortably headed away this time. We've read the danger. It's of just over 6,500 on a Wednesday night in Machida. Was previously around about the capacity of this stadium before the expansion in 2021. Can hold actually just over 15,000 now. Yasuda Park. On the side of the progress on and off the field of this club. Vita Bueno for Cerezo. Change. It looks like Lucas Fernandez has gone out to that right-hand side. He can play on overflank pretty effectively, really. this corner kick. He's going to assume responsibility for taking it. The most miserly defence in J1 hold firm. Keep out the Sakura. But he has let in less than Machida Zelvia this season. Should be the goalkeeper's ball, and it is. And Tani took it well enough. This would be a sweet victory for the Cerezo Osaka player. He's on loan for the season in Machida. Hoping for his second clean sheet of the campaign. It might open up here for Fujio at the other end all of a sudden. Flinging out a foot, without quite being able to reach it as required. The referee now is reaching for his card for the challenge by Sento. He's kept those cards in his pocket for the majority of the match, just the second caution. There's Tamka. Top by Weijo. For Lucas Fernandez. Leo Ciara. Quite the space to get the shot away, really. So this is something that Na Sang-ho has proved pretty adept at finding since he came on. Just nicked away from him by Bueno. There's confirmation of that caution for Kaya Sento a few moments ago. Ciara is the one that Cerezo will look to get them back in the game. Just caught by Jiang Minxu. To find their way through in the final third, Cerezo. And Sang-ho. And still, just delayed the shot a little bit. And it came from Sento, it was certainly travelling. It's travelling straight through to Kim Jin-hyun. Extended by that. Also leading, I understand, by the same scoreline, a goal to nil, home to Avispa Fukuoka, so it would be as you were at the top. And the goal difference separating them should it stay this way. So Cerezo Osaka trying to pick a way through for Leo Ciara. Then he takes a tumble under the challenge of Jiang Minxu, and the referee says penalty. And that might just change everything. Leo Ciara having his say. Setting off on a strong run, he reached it first and then collided with the South Korean centre-back. Just stepped across into him, really, without necessarily committing to the challenge, but he found himself in an awkward spot. Referee Araki had a look and was fairly swiftly pointing to the penalty spot from where Leo Ciara has been productive this season. He did miss one against F. Marinos a few games ago, in which he scored twice. And a point against Consadole, their last point with a penalty. And they trailed by a goal to nil. And we hope to do likewise at least here. Into double figures already in the J1 League season. There's Ciara. See his record from the spot against Tani. Saved just 2 of 25 career penalties that he has faced. There's Ciara. It's a massive moment, this, in the match. It's a powerful penalty, and it's all square at 1-1. And the remarkable goal-scoring run of Leo Ciara goes on. 11 for the season now, 9 in his last 9. Brought on at the break, and he got just enough power on the penalty to beat Tani with it. The goalkeeper did get a hand to it and couldn't keep it out. for the first time in 4 games. Machida Zelvia concede, and it could be such a costly concession. Frustration really in the nature in which the goal came about. The challenge of Jack on Leo Ciara leading to the penalty. He takes full advantage from the spot. Level now with Rio Shimane of Jubilo Iwata. 11 goals for the season as the J1's joint top scorers. So I'll have to try and do it all over again. In their attempts to do so, they will make changes. Looks like a triple substitution on the way. Late in the game. From Cerezo. Still looking at a 6th successive game without a victory as it stands, but back on track to salvage something. And who knows? Potentially put themselves in a position for more, but they need to stay switched on from his free kick. Hirakawa has done really well to wriggle away. Hirakawa in towards Fujio. It nearly came for Na Sang-ho. Fujio in the end was just about crowded out of it. And took some stopping. Menace from Machida. Kawa did brilliantly there to find a way through. And there appeared to be none. The block was by Vitor Buena on Fujio. And here come those changes. Final 5 plus whatever is added on beyond that. Return of Eric for a 4th straight appearance off the bench. Araki and Shimada on as well. Sento, Fujio and Hirakawa coming off. And the latter 2 were involved in that chance a moment ago. It proves to be their final act of the evening. It's the introduction off the bench of the Brazilian Eric, scorer of 18 goals in winning promotion last season. That is maybe the most notable. He's been out since August with a cruciate ligament injury until the last 3 matches. And he's started his comeback off the subs bench, continuing that late on tonight. His team top in search of a winning goal. Do look back to that one that got away from Na Sang-ho, that whistle just the other side of the post, which would have made it 2-0. It's an even more important moment now. As far as Na Sang-ho, Shibato. Suzuki. Shibato again, helped on by Na, into some space. There's the chance for Eric, and he didn't quite get enough on it. And just about kept out by Kim. So the goalkeeper flung himself at the feet of the Brazilian. What a chance for a player who'd only been on the field really a matter of moments. We'll have to reflect on the major opening getting away from him. The space that he was in here, the keeper did enough, and then it was Nishio on the line that was able to complete the clearance. And he's such a key player, or has been before that injury for Machida Zelvia. Huge hopes for him now that he's fit again, able to play in this division. What's his moment, maybe? They're actually planning to sell welcome back Eric merchandise, I'm told, at the game against Tokyo Verdy at the weekend. And he really would have announced his return had he been able to score that one. Such a fan's favourite. Such a big chance. Shi-hun, who did score from that type of territory, to put them in front earlier in the piece, can only watch on. keeper Kim to carefully collect it. We approach the last minute of the 90. Settle for a point at struggling Shonan Bellmare at the weekend. This would be frustrating for Machida Zelvia. Even more frustrating though if their lead is lost and they're left with nothing. If Cerezo can complete the turnaround as they're threatening to do just at the moment. Lucas Fernandez squeezing it through. There's the space for the shot, which Tani gets an important glove on. Turned it away from trouble. Neither side have given up on winning this game yet from here. Hasn't had a lot to do really, Tani, tonight. He was able to make the save from the substitute Kiyotaki. Here's Okuda. Funaki. Vitor Bueno forward. Threaded through to Leo Ciara, trying to stay onside and then trying to dig the shot out from under his feet. Not yet been dealt with. Bueno blocked off. I thought it may well have been offside. Well, the flag has gone up as we go into 6 additional minutes, with this still very much in the balance. Both sides still feeling they can win it. Leo Ciara having equalised from the penalty spot. Oh, that was close. Jianmin Zhu, the defender who brought it down for the penalty, very nearly playing him onside there. In the end, it was somewhat academic anyway, as they hadn't been able to force a way through from the opening. Na Sang-ho has it here for Zelvia. Duke has not been able to play the pass that he was intending. Neither really one thing nor the other from the Australian in the end. Openings keep coming though, at both ends of the pitch late on. Some tired legs out there. Tight turnaround, of course, since the weekend. Na Sang-ho. MEIJI gets the foot in. Not enough to win the ball back for long. Suzuki swings the cross in, just too far in front of Duke. Raki's going to keep it in far side though. 5 more minutes to play yet. Yeah, additional time here. This could still go either way. Kiyotake just dwelt in possession a little too long before it's nicked away from him. Tanaka takes over. Uejo. So who have lost their last couple of away games, still sensing the chance to win this maybe. Vitor Bueno helping it on. And this is Lucas Fernandez. And it looked like he'd engineered that glimpse of goal that he might have needed without quite being able to find the finish. Those chances keep coming with increasing frequency in these final stages. Are we going to get the big grandstand finish? And at which end? It's Machida Zelvia's turn here. And it goes towards Mitchell Duke. And in it goes to maybe win the game. They lead again in stoppage time. Another incredible chapter in their remarkable rise in this fascinating fairy tale season that they're having. Just rose to make the header his, did Mitchell Duke. Just got to it first, and in doing so, guided it out of the reach of Kim in goal. Got the better of Funaki, who rose with him. But Mitchell Duke, who scored 10 times in winning them promotion last year, scores his second goal of this J1 League season. The Australian off the bench might just have settled it in stoppage time. There's enough time yet to ensure we can't quite say that with certainty. But for Cerezo, these remaining minutes will disappear very quickly, I'm sure. Mitchell Duke with maybe the definitive touch of the game. struggled to make an impact off the bench in the minutes that preceded it. Scored in the 3-0 victory at Kyoto Sanga as a sub. And he's done it again here, 2 in 3. That last one, they were 2 up and cruising at the time. This one means that much more. The previous goal this year was for Australia in January in a friendly against Bahrain. Cerezo picked themselves up off the floor again. It's a huge ask at this stage. Did it against F. Marinos when twice coming back from a goal behind. They're heading now, as it stands, for a 3rd straight defeat. For the first time since the last 3 games of last season. 2024 having started so impressively, so promisingly, with 8 games unbeaten. Sees the slide set to continue unless they can summon something here. Leo Ciara does get his foot in. The last of the 6 additional minutes, there might be a little bit more yet. Funaki been disappointed to have been beaten in the air by Mitchell Duke. The Australian striker did tower over him in that particular duel. One will come through for Weijo. Vitor Bueno dinking it in where Nishio had stayed forward. Lucas Fernandez did well to reach it. Will race off to take the corner as quickly as he can, because there is no time to spare for Cerezo Osaka. Seconds away now from a 3rd straight defeat. Yet still they believe, still they support. And the keeper has come forward. A target, it doesn't get that far. It's out by Shimoda. Only as far though as Okudo. Mitchell Duke back in his own box. Effective in both penalty areas. And time may be for one last counter-attack. Iraqi is content enough really to head towards the corner. He'll probably do it for Machida Zelvia. More than understandable in the circumstances when you look at the clock. We play on only at the referee's discretion now. They get set to celebrate next to his winning goal in stoppage time. They just want that full-time whistle. Dispossessed. Point come for Iraqi. There's Mitchell Duke. The priority is just to hold on to it, really. Cerezo can't win back possession and are out of time. And it's another impressive, hard-earned victory for Machida Zelvia, who continue to revel in the top flight, who continue to overcome hurdle after hurdle, who continue to set the pace. And Cerezo, who had got themselves back on terms, are beaten for the 3rd game in succession. 6 without a win for a team that led the lot just 4 games ago. But they've fallen short here. Mitchell Duke with the winning goal in stoppage time. That's the moment that separates them. Just reached it ahead of Funaki. They found a way. Get both players really on the way in. But the Australian substitute leads the celebrations. And after that frustration at Shonan Belmare and the goalless draw at the weekend, Machida Zelvia back to winning ways. A 3rd win in 4 games, unbeaten. A full-time score in front of their own fans here of Machida Zelvia 2, Cerezo Osaka 1. It was just a few games ago that it was Cerezo who led the table ahead of Machida. Now they are 9 points behind them after the events at Mizuta Park today. Kuroda, for so long a high school coach for over 20 years, now has a team promoted to J1 and now challenging for the title at the top of J1. This incredible story 31 years today that the first ever J-League game was played, and it's a side in its first ever season in the top flight who've continued to script the most fanciful of stories, really. It's a brilliant effort, as it needed to be again today, because Cerezo did play their part, and they did, through their top scorer Leo Ciara, through his 11th goal of the season, get themselves back on terms from the penalty spot late in the game. They too created openings of their own in search of a second. At one stage it looked like they may go on and turn it around in its entirety and win the game. But Machida Zelvia are the side that have found a way, as has often been the case in this remarkable campaign. 6 without a win now for the side from Osaka, who will make that trip home, wondering quite maybe how they haven't taken any sort of reward from the game. Next up for them, a trip to Avispa Fukuoka on Saturday. The games continue to come quickly. It's derby day for Zelvia on Sunday here against Tokyo Verdy. Both teams coming up from J2 last season to make their mark, but Machida Zelvia setting the pace when everybody expects that at some stage they will slip. Thus far, they are sustaining those standards, says Mitchell Duke with the reaction afterwards.
Congratulations.
ありがとうございます。
アディショナルタイムの劇的ゴールで2対1の勝利となりました。まずは今のお気持ちから聞かせていただけますか?
Tell us about your feeling that you scored 2-1 and we won this game.
Yeah, this is one of my strengths, is my heading scoring, and Kotaro put a great cross and I just had to touch it in.